Good morning. Good morning. Doo-ba-doo-doo-doo. I don't even know if it's morning as you're listening to this. That's the song from Singing in the Rain, right? My name is Melissa Carter. I'm the blogger at You Only Have Your Shelf to Blame. I don't know if it's morning when you're watching this. It's morning when I'm recording this. So, hi. I have another book recommendation for you. It's based on the recent news of Mars and what's going on with Mars. Well, there's several countries who are on Mars now. I think the last window of opportunity to land on Mars, not only was it NASA here in the United States, but also Japan and the United Arab Emirates all had successful probes land on the surface of Mars. So everybody is there, not just the United States. But one of the things that the United States has been able to do first is have a helicopter, basically a drone, right? But a helicopter on Mars. And you're thinking, well, what's the big deal? A drone on Mars, a drone on Earth, who cares? If you're not big into space and to science, our atmosphere here on Earth is about 100 times denser than it is on Mars. And so to have a vehicle have lift and also movement, it's gone, as of this date, about half of a football field, is impressive. It's such light air that to be able to do that is, as I've said, the dream of our ancestors. Because our ancestors thought that there were Martians, right? That's where Martians came from, is Mars. They thought they were little green men. And then if you're a big fan of old comics, John Carter, I know it was a Disney movie that I actually enjoyed, but it was a flop because now that we know there's nothing on Mars, I guess Mars is not something people want to see fantasy written about. But John Carter, he had the ability to jump very far and do very great things, and that was because the atmosphere was so not as dense as where he came from on Earth. So anyway, I love planets. I love space. I love the conversation about it. And that is why, getting to the book, The Planets by Dava Sobel. I think I'm saying her name correctly. Forgive me if I'm not. But she is a science journalist, seasoned science journalist. And this is not a new book. This has been out for a while. But I love this book, The Planets. Because I love the planets, reading this book was such a joy, and I think I did it in a day. Like, it was a quick read for me. But every chapter is dedicated to the different planets, and it does include the moon, and it does include Pluto. So we do get some love for Pluto for those of us old enough to remember when it was a planet. My 6-year-old son is learning there are 8 planets in the sky, and it's so hard for me to stop listing them off at Neptune because I miss Pluto. But Pluto is in this book as well. And basically, she just explains to you about the different planets, about the rotation, about their atmosphere. But don't worry, it's not like look at the beautiful, colorful cover. It's not a textbook. So what makes her such a wonderful writer is that she says it in such a way that makes you enjoy it. You can tell that she's a fan of science. She's a fan of space. And it's just beautiful words that she uses in order to describe things like, for instance, she's talking about the moon and the different phases of the moon. So forgive me as I read this little piece to you, but the first sight of the young moon arrives as a smile at twilight. Though only the slimmest sliver of silver crescent shines on us this early in the moon's monthly cycle, the rest of the moon reveals itself in just discernible form as though the old moon were lying in the young moon's arms. That is not a textbook. She is a beautiful writer and said in such a poetic way. So if you are a fan of the planets and space and already know this stuff, this will excite you because you'll love the way that she describes it. If you were somebody that has never really cared about it, but now that this whole Mars thing has gotten you interested, this book is also a great introduction into the magic that is these heavenly bodies that we are sitting in the neighborhood with. So again, The Planets, Dava Sobel. I highly recommend it. You can get a link in the description. And if there's any books that you would recommend that you love, whether it's about space or anything, whether it's like science fiction like John Carter, if there's something that, that inspires you to be such a big fan of space. For me, it was Star Trek. For others, it's Star Wars. Whatever it is, leave it in the comments. We'd love to hear it. And go to You Only Have Your Shelf to Blame. And you can always subscribe and get the newsletter every week where I have a new recommendation for a book for you to read. And they're authentically all off my shelf. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.